Here we are with the Reykjavík-based Tamara Kocan, originally from Switzerland, and we've been talking for a while, and we're doing now a city rating. Actually, we're going to do two city ratings for where you currently are, Reykjavik, and then also your city of origin, your region of origin for your family, Zurich, Switzerland. So let's start with Reykjavik, walkability on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest score, 10 being the highest.
Okay, so tricky. I'll rate Reykjavik walkability around 5 to 6. Because it's not as bad as people think, but there's room for a lot of improvements, especially in winter. Yeah.
Are those improvements more like in the periphery? It starts to get really rural outside of the town?
It's super rural town, so we're really just speaking about the city itself. And the problem is that the center is a historic center and touristic center, but has nothing to do with functional city, really. So the center is very walkable, I think, in my opinion. But everything else isn't that much, or the distances between housing and workplaces and facilities like shops or services are really spread out. So it makes it very difficult to actually walk to where you need to, and therefore people take their car.
Okay, so the 5 to 6 is actually for the city core as well, and including the whole. How quickly does it get rural? Like if you're walking or if you're on public transit on a bus, like how many stops before?
Within 20 minutes you're out of town.
Right.
15, 20 minutes out of town.
Okay, so how about public transit for Reykjavik?
I would say 6, because it's not as bad as people think. Public transit has a very bad reputation here. It's for poor people or young people who don't have a car, and that's about it. It's actually not that bad. They're always on time. You have to hold on fast because they drive really quickly. But it's pretty okay, and it gets you places faster than by car. So in most places, not always, but most places.
Okay, you've said something for both your scores, that you said it's not as bad as people think. People locally have a pretty negative view of these modes.
It's just because the car culture is huge. People just really use the car like an extension to their bodies, I would almost say. They go everywhere by car, to the shop, to the schools, to pick up their kids, to work, anywhere. And walking is a leisure activity that you do on the weekends and evenings for health reasons, but not as a mode of transport.
Okay.
And taking the bus in the same way is really just if you don't have any other option. And that's it. But it's just a mentality thing, because actually the infrastructure is there, and it is tricky in winter, I have to admit. Taking the bus in winter, walking in winter is not always funny when there are storms outside, when the pavements aren't done, there's snow everywhere and ice. It is a challenge, but it's doable.
But you yourself do not drive, so you know the ins and you really rely on public transit. So you really can. Are you going to be documenting the things you see too, like the barriers to use? Or things like that?
I'm trying to, but often it's. I also, like you mentioned before, at some point, I'd have 2 small kids, and often it's too dangerous actually to take a picture or something while I'm trying to get into the bus with snow and wind. But what I need to do slowly is take pictures when I see other people struggling, and then help, because I can't just stand there and not help.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's a local advocate there who can come along with you for some media documentation.
Yeah, maybe. I need to find the helping friend. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Okay, thank you for those scores on Reykjavik. It'll be really interesting to see more of your own documentation and hear more from you on all that.